Okay, hi everybody. Welcome. Good morning. We are actually going to start on our belly. So you can just come on down. I would suggest just getting yourself set up in a way where you have space to reach your arms out in front of you, even though we're not going to do that right away. But if you have to rearrange your space or your body a little bit, just do that now so that eventually we can reach the arms forward. But for now, let the legs come out a little bit wide. Let the arms come in front and stack the palms. And then we're going to suggest that you just rest the forehead down on the palms. And if that's not comfortable for you, you can always rest on one cheek. I'm going to rest on one cheek so that you can hear me speak, because otherwise I'll be completely muffled. And just let yourself settle in. So you might even shake the hips a little from side to side. You're just wiggling to let yourself settle into the earth. And then make a mental note of how the feet have landed. And maybe, depending on how they've landed, switch it up a little bit. So maybe let the toes point out and the heels in. You might have to separate the legs a little more to make that comfortable enough to be. And if that's not comfortable or sustainable, then switch it up. And again, you can do the opposite. You can take heels out, toes in, if that feels more of the opposite of what you naturally went to. And then just let yourself settle in for a few breaths. So since we've changed up the footing, you might feel a little more sensation. And then let your breath begin to deepen and lengthen. As you inhale, feeling the expansion of the belly and the expansion of the back body. And as you exhale, slow and soft, just start to let yourself fall into the shape, fall into the support, and fall into a deeper connection with your breath. If you happen to be on one cheek, switch to the opposite cheek. If you're on your forehead, resting on the hands, then just stay where you are. Take a few more mindful breaths. Feel each point of connection between the body and the earth. Notice how you take that fuller inhale, the expansion throughout the whole back body. You might check in with shoulders and see if they can drop away from the ears if they've crunched up a little. We'll begin to inhale and bend the knees so the feet are up towards the ceiling. We'll just find a gentle windshield wiper from side to side. Might be like a little massage on the quads. Might take it deeper to move into the hips and the lower back. And then let the feet rest in center where you can release them back to the floor. And you might bring the legs in a little closer. Let them rest to the earth. If you're on one cheek, bring the forehead to the tops of the hands. And then we'll inhale the head up away from the hands, just an inch or two. Keep the chin tucked, looking down towards the floor. Start to engage the upper back to lift the heart a little bit and the shoulders. Keep the pelvis and the ribs rooted down. And then lift the hands off the floor and very mindfully take both hands and slide them back towards your chest with your elbows in by your ribs. Shoulders out of the ears. Chin tucked, crown of the head reaching forward, tailbone and toes reaching back. Another breath here. And then as you exhale, release down to the earth. Inhale, lift the heart, baby cobra. But instead of lifting so much, think about the crown of the head reaching forward, finding more length in the spine, pull the so the tailbone reaches to the back of the room. And then exhale, gently release down. And this time, inhale, lift, either the same, put a little more weight into the hands and press yourself up just a little bit more. And then gently roll yourself back down. Come to your left cheek, reach the arms out to the side, coming out from your shoulders. If you have very tight shoulders or any shoulder issues, you can take your hands further down, bring the hands more in line with the ribs or the hips, so keeping them straight. And then take the right leg, bend the knee to the outside, bringing the knee as high as the hip, and the heel in line with the knee. So the right leg's creating a 90-degree angle. You can even wiggle the hips to melt the hips to the earth, pressing the right shin towards the right wall. And just take a few breaths there, getting into the hips a little bit. Nice full inhale, slow, soft exhale. Good. Let's bend the right elbow up towards the ceiling, bring the fingertips in towards your shoulder. And we'll slowly start to roll onto the left side body. Keep the left arm where it is. You can always lower the arm if it's too much. The right leg can stay in front of you, or you can place it behind you and let the head be supported either by the floor or put a pillow or block underneath it. And just breathe into the left side of the heart and the shoulder. Make sure there's no pain. Sensation is okay, but not pain. And take 2 or 3 big breaths here. Slow exhales. On your next exhalation, gently, mindfully roll back onto your belly. Arms rest out. Switch to your right cheek. I'm going to stay on my left so you can hear me. And just take another breath or two here, just settling into center. And then with those arms out to the side and on your right cheek, let the left knee bend. Bringing the knee about hip height, no higher. Pressing the foot away from you a little bit, just so it's underneath the knee. And that leg's at more of a 90-degree angle. And then wiggle a little to let the shin move closer towards that left wall. And take a few breaths, settling in on your belly. Opening up the hips. Good. As you're ready, come bend your left elbow, fingertips in under the shoulder, and we'll roll over onto the right side. Foot can stay in front of you or behind you. Nice full breaths. And then you'll gently roll yourself back onto your belly. Let the hands rest wherever they're happiest. And just take a nice big breath in and a big breath out. Stretch the arms forward. And we'll lift up onto fingertips. So we lift the elbows and the shoulders a little bit. And then slide the left arm underneath the right armpit. So we're not coming into a twist here. I want the shoulders square to the floor, the heart square to the floor, and then you can slowly melt yourself down. You might not go down all the way, and that's fine. Just be where you are, breathe into the outside of the left shoulder. Heart melts to the floor. Ground through the right fingertips. Inhale, unwind, and then exhale there. Inhale, lengthen out, up on fingertips, right arm comes underneath the left armpit. Try not to spiral the spine. Just keep that right shoulder squared to the floor as best you can. And just take a few good breaths here, melting the heart towards the earth. Another good breath here. Let me inhale, lift, lengthen out that right arm. Big breath in, big breath out in center. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heart a little bit, and then lift the arms. And then very mindfully bring the arms back, almost in a cactus posture, without the real tight lift. Keep yourself low. And then squeeze the elbows by your ribs. Place your hands next to your chest. Keep that heart and head lifted. Another breath. Lower down. And then mindfully press yourself up through a modified plank, back into child's pose. Get slow. Let yourself settle into your child's pose. Knees can be nice and wide. Taking a couple good breaths here. Big inhale, big exhale. You can walk the hands over to the left. You can relax the left arm a little bit and then reach the right fingertips further away. Inhale yourself back to center. Exhale there. And then we inhale over to the right. The right arm might relax a little bit, but the left fingertips reach further away, the head surrenders. And inhaling, lifting yourself back through center. Exhale there. Inhale, lift the head and the heart. Bring yourself back up into tabletop. We'll move through a little cat-cow. Let the heart shine forward. Round the spine, tuck the chin. Pull the belly button and the heart to the ceiling. Let's keep going. Follow your rhythm, your breath. Then inhale yourself to center and walk the hands forward just an inch or two. Shoulders come over the wrists. Pull the tummy in, keep the hips lifted, don't drop them down, keep them lifted. Shoulders out of the ears. Let your gaze be to the floor and between the hands or a little in front. Take another breath there. And then we'll let the hips start to melt down, let the quads melt down. Be sure to bend the elbows so you don't go too deep into the low back. And slowly lower yourself down. When you land, stretch the arms forward again. Head can rest to the floor, forehead down. Pick up the right leg. Extend the toes as far behind you as you can. The leg doesn't have to come up very high. And then exhale, release it down. Left leg lifts. Reach the toes further behind you. And release that leg down. Let's inhale, right arm, left leg. And release down. Left arm, right leg. And release down. Take a nice cleansing breath here. You can rest however feels good to you. Use the breath to nourish the body. And stretching arms out again, straight out in front. As you inhale, lift legs and arms. Exhale, release down. One more like that. Inhale, lift legs and arms. This time, maybe make cactus arms and open the heart a little more. Another breath there. Reach the fingertips forward and then mindfully release everything down to the mat. Take a nice cleansing breath, maybe a little wiggle of the hips. Big inhale, big exhale. One more, just like that. We'll add on an option. Lift everything. If you'd like, find cactus arms. If you'd like, let the legs go wide. Spread the legs, let the feet extend in either direction. One more breath. And then inhale, fingertips forward, legs reach back. Exhale down to the floor. Big breath in. Big breath out. Curl the toes. Bring the hands by your chest. Keep the toes curled. We're just going to press back into child pose, but with the toes curled under. With the curls toed under. Press the floor away, sending the hips more towards the heels, opening up the bottoms of the feet. Big inhale, big exhale. Inhale, lift up into tabletop. Undo the feet if you want to give them a little bang to release them, go for it. Bring the hands to the earth, press down through the fingertips. Tuck the chin a little bit to lengthen out the neck. We'll extend the right leg behind you. Hips are square, toes to the floor, tummy pulls in. Bend the knee so the foot is almost like flat to the ceiling, like you're going to tap dance on it. Good. And then bring the knee to the outside. You don't have to bring it up as close to the arm. You want it near the hip, like dog peeing pose. One more breath. And then maybe straighten the leg. And then place the foot to the floor. Feel the pinky edge of the foot to the earth. Shoulders out of the ears will lengthen through the spine. You can come down to forearms here. Press the hips further back, think almost like down dog upper body, or walk the hands forward, keep the elbows lifted, drop the ears between the biceps, pull the tummy and the ribs in, and send the hips further back. Nice full breath here. Good. Inhale, lift the head and the heart, walk the hands back under the shoulders. And then ground down through the left leg and the hands. We're going to lift that right leg off the floor and then send it back behind you. Square the hips and place that knee back down. Just a little cat-cow to move all that around. And then we come back to neutral spine. Extend the left leg behind you. Hips square, tummy pulls in. Slowly bend the knee so the foot is flat to the ceiling. And then bring that knee to the outside so it's in line with your hip. Try to lift it up higher if you can. And then straighten the leg, maybe. And then mindfully place the foot to the floor. Seal the pinky edge of the foot. Decide where you want to go. Either walk the hands forward, drop the head and the heart, think down dog in the upper body, hips reach back, or you can drop the elbows. That's better for you. Another full inhale, full exhale. When we inhale, lift the head and heart, bring the hands under the shoulders. We're going to lift that left foot off the floor any amount, and then slide it back behind you, square off the hips, and bend the knee and place it back down. Let's just take the hands forward and do 2 circles of the hips in each direction. Awesome. After you've done 2 circles in both directions, bring the shoulders over the wrists. Take those shoulders out of the ears, create length around the neck. Curl the toes, send yourself to plank. And then up and back, down dog. Take some breath to walk it out in your down dog. Settling in. Then the left leg behind you. And then step it all the way forward, helping it forward, getting yourself into your low lunge. Create length in the back of the neck. Another breath. Then root down and rise up. Find your high lunge. Take a moment to settle in as you arrive. Find your drishti. Take your left hand to your left hip. Right arm reaches up and over. You might even take it back a little bit if that feels right to you. Another breath. Inhale, float the arms, both arms up. As you exhale, come down, reach forward for the wall in front of you. Keep the glutes engaged as you slowly place the hands to the floor. Step it back, plank. Go to vinyasa if you want it, or press straight back into dog or child's pose. When you arrive, we'll send the right leg behind. Step it all the way forward. Down, rise up, find that high lunge. Settling in. Right hand to right hip. Left arm reaches up and then over. Maybe back a little bit. Another breath. Inhale, reach the arm up, both arms float up. Exhale, start to reach for the wall out in front of you. And place the hands to the floor, step it back. Plank, vinyasa, your move, however works for you. Another full breath here. Extend the left leg behind you. Bend the knees, stack the hips. Left hip over right. Left heel is reaching towards that right glute, but the shoulders are squared to the floor. Another breath here. Toes to the sky, square your hips. Step that left leg all the way forward. Let the back heel drop down. Back knee drop down. Uncurl the toes. Squeeze thighs, float it all the way up. And find cactus arms. Squeeze shoulder blades together and lift the heart, pull the tummy in. Maybe send the gaze skyward and let the hips drop in without letting them go completely. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the earth. Right hand reaches down, left arm lifts. Take breath in and out. Then we windmill the left arm to the floor as we square off the shoulders and take the hips back. You might grab your blocks here. Left leg goes towards straight. Toes point up to the ceiling, lengthen out the spine, shoulders roll back. I love the blocks with this one. It creates space for the spine to lengthen. You can get into the hamstring a little more. Flex that left foot so the toes are pointing up. Tailbone reaches back, relax the head and the shoulders. You might even tuck the chin a little. Press down with the left heel and pull that heel back towards you, pulling the left hip back a bit. Another breath. You have to bend the left knee. Place the foot flat to the floor. Move your blocks. Hands to the ground. Curl the back toe, lift the back knee. We're going to root down through the right arm, left arm lifts. Another twist. Press down, lift up. Another inhale, another exhale. And then windmill that left arm down. We're going to step it all the way forward. Forward fold. Release the head. Shake it gently, yes to no. On your inhale, come up halfway, straight spine. Exhale, forward fold. Root through the feet, ground through the legs, reverse swan dive. Take it all the way up. Bring your hands to your heart. Settle inward. Breath fluid, feet grounded, heart open. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky, take up space. Exhale, right through center, forward fold. Step back with the left leg. Squeeze thighs together. Another breath here. Ground through the hands, step it all the way back, move through your vinyasa, or don't. We'll all meet in down dog as you're ready. As you arrive in down dog, extend your right leg behind you, stack the hips, bend the knee, square the shoulders. Another breath. Toes reach to the sky, square the hips, step that right leg all the way forward. Settling in. Drop the back knee down, uncurl the toes. Left hand roots, right arm lifts. And a twist. Another breath. Right hand spirals to the floor as we square off the hips and shoulders, squeeze thighs, lift the arms up. And cactus arms, pull in and up, open the heart, lift the belly. Maybe the gaze goes downward. Another breath here. Reaching the arms up. And exhaling, floating them down. We'll pull the hips back, straightening out the right leg, toes come up, maybe you grab your blocks. Try to roll the shoulders out of the ears. Let the heart shine forward, the toes reach up. And press down through the right heel and pull that right hip back a little. Couple breaths. All right, another breath. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine, bend the right knee, place the foot to the floor. Hands to the earth, curl the back toe, lift the back knee, lunge, ground through the left hand, right arm lifts. Try not to collapse that left hip so much. Pull in and up. Good. And then the right hand comes down. We take the left foot, step it forward, forward fold. We're going to let the knees have a little bend, let the belly rest to the thighs, then tuck the chin. Inhale, we come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. And reverse swan dive all the way up. Hands to the heart. Full inhale. Full exhale. Ground through the right leg. We're going to lift the left knee. Another breath. Staying right here, you can put hands on your hips if you prefer. You decide. We're going to take this knee out to the side any amount. Another breath. Bring it back in and mindfully place it down. Big inhale, big exhale. Let it all go. Round through the left leg, right leg lifts. Find your drishti. Mindfully take that leg out to the side, any amount. Notice what needs to engage for you to stay here. Good. And then bring that leg back and place it down. Sweep the arms up with a big breath in. As you breathe out, come through center, forward fold. Step it back with the right leg. Take a couple breaths, settling into that lunge. And hands root down, step back, plank. Move through your vinyasa. Take a good breath in and out. You come forward into plank. Squeeze to the middle line. Another breath. Then lower the knees, keep the hips and the belly lifted. And lower the forearms. Keep belly lifted. Find your breath. Another good breath here. And then we slowly and mindfully melt the pelvis to the floor. And we find Sphinx. Palms to the floor, heart reaches forward. Crown of the head reaches up and out. Shoulders out of the ears. Nice full breath in and out. Good. Let the elbows come out wide, rest on one cheek, take a good breath in and a good breath out. Awesome. Let's extend your left arm forward. Roll onto the left side of your body. Flex the feet as though you're standing on the wall as your floor, so your legs are in Tadasana. You can stay here with your head rested on the extended arm, which will probably be the harder version of this, or you can lift your head and use your hand to support your head, which is a nice middle ground. And then the other option is to lift up onto your forearm, like I'm doing right here with your fingertips in front of your belly or your chest. So this will probably be the easier version, not to say it's easy. So you can start in the middle or start wherever you want, and you can always change your mind. So we're gonna pull the tummy in, really zip up the legs like we've got Tadasana. I'm gonna do the middle version. Right hand is in front of you to help stabilize you up on fingertips. Keep the legs nice and engaged and zipped. And then we're going to bend the right knee up towards the ceiling, like tree. But I don't want you to put your foot on your leg. Keep the foot floating. Really engage that left leg. The more you engage the left leg, the more stable you're going to be. And the good news is if you fall, you don't have far to go. You'll just fall over. Feel free to stay like this, especially if you feel like you're working plenty here. Or extend that leg straight up towards the ceiling. It doesn't need to be straight. Flex out the feet. Really engage so you're on that left side body. You have not fallen to the butt cheek. Another breath. And then engage, 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 and maybe float the right arm up towards the ceiling. Good. Another couple breaths here. Beautiful. If you want to make it harder, release the hand and drop the head. See how that goes. And release the right hand in front of the chest. Bend the right knee. One more. We're going to take that right knee and bring it forward in front of with that leg bent, but only bring the knee hip height. So you're lowering the knee towards the front or the front of your body. Good. Really engage. Another breath here. And then release the right leg on top of the left. Roll onto your belly. Spread it all out. Wiggle it all out. Take a nice full breath in and out. Notice what you notice. Good. Do the same thing on the other side. So extend the arm, the right arm out in front of you. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. And roll onto your right side. Head might rest on the bottom arm or bend the elbow and let it rest on the hand. Really engage. Flex the feet. So I don't know about you, but these side things can be really hard for me because my hips just jet out and make me fall all over the place. So really important to zip up the legs. Tadasana. Left hand is in front of the chest. And then begin to bend the left knee, bringing the knee towards the ceiling. Keep that right leg engaged. Good. You might choose to stay there and maybe lift the right arm up. You might straighten out the left leg and then maybe lift the arm or not. You fall over, just come back in. If you notice you're leaning back, try to bring yourself back to center and really engage to stay here longer. Another breath. Awesome. Let's release the left hand in front of the chest. Bend the left knee. So now it's like 90 degrees. And then we're going to slowly bring the knee in front. So it comes down towards the mat, but only to the hip height. And then really engage to stay there for just another couple breaths. Good. Awesome. And then release that leg down. Roll back onto the belly. Rest it out. Take a breath in and out, a little wiggle. Good. Let's press back, either child's pose or down dog. Press the hips further back wherever you are, shoulders out of the ears. Nice full breath in and out. Good. If you'd like to cleanse the palate with vinyasa, go for it. When you arrive, we'll all make our way to downward facing dog. Extend the left leg behind you. Let's bring the left knee to the left elbow, squeeze and lift. And then bring the left knee to the right elbow. And then send it back, three-legged dog. The left leg steps forward, forward fold, low lunge. And then the right heel is going to drop down behind you, warrior two footing. Ground through the legs. Look at what's happening with the left hip. Can we pull it in and under? Squeeze and lift. Find that bend in the front knee. Settle yourself in. You might wiggle the hips a little. Maybe a little flick of the fingers. Shoulders out of the ears. Another breath here. Yep. Begin to straighten the front leg. Reach as far forward as you can. Triangle. Let that right hip pull back behind you. Another breath. Look down towards your left toe. Let the right arm swing down. Bend your left knee and lift your back heel. Low lunge. Take that back foot. Step it forward a bit. Heel melts to the floor. We start to straighten the left leg. Maybe come to prop blocks. Straighten out the spine. Left hip pulls back. Right heel melts to the ground. We lengthen out through the spine and then melt the heart towards the left knee. Another couple breaths here. Good. Big inhale. Big exhale. Get to bend the left knee. Step the right foot forward. Forward fold. Bend the knees. Keep the knees bent. Slowly roll it up, one vertebra at a time. Let those glutes and core engaged to help lift you up. Roll the shoulders when you arrive. Take up some space. Big inhale. Big exhale. Bring your hands to your heart. Ground through the right leg. Lift the left knee. This time we'll cross the ankle over the thigh and sit into a reclined chair so the left knee drops down. Hips reach back. Maybe the elbows come down, stay connected to your thirst. Breathe. Begin to root down to lift yourself up and mindfully step up. Sweep the arms to the sky, big inhale. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Step back with the right leg. Step back with the left leg plank. Vinyasa or no vinyasa will all meet in downward facing dog. You need to extend the right leg behind you once you arrive. Right knee to right elbow, pull in and up, and then right knee to left elbow, in and up. And the right leg goes back, three-legged dog. Step that right leg all the way forward. When you arrive, scoop the right hip under as the left heel drops down. And we float up into our warrior two. Let yourself settle in, wiggle the hips a little. See what's going on here. Find out what's happening with your breath, reconnect to it. Begin to straighten out the front leg. Reach as far forward as you can. And tip-top for triangle. Activate the legs. Find the length in the torso. Another breath. Look down towards the big toe. Start to bend that knee. Take both hands to the floor and lift the left heel. Low lunge. Back foot steps forward a little bit. So you can straighten out the front leg. Pull the right hip back and let the left heel melt to the floor. Great place for blocks. Lengthen out through the spine. Keep pulling that right hip back and melt into your knee. Really good breath here. You need to bend that front knee. Step forward. Release the head. Round through the legs, nice and stable. Bend the knees, squeeze the glutes and the thighs and the core, and roll up slowly, one vertebra at a time. Roll the shoulders, take up space when you arrive. Nice full breath in and out. Hands to the heart, ground through the left leg and bend the right knee. Cross the ankle over the thigh and send the hips back, coming into your reclined chair. You can keep the heart high or start to lower it. Use your breath and your drishti. Ground through the standing leg, lift the heart, very mindfully. Step out. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Exhale, hands come down. Place the hands to the floor. Step back with the left leg. Step back with the right leg, plank. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Vinyasa, no vinyasa, you choose. All meet in child's pose. When you arrive, take a nice full breath in and out. Good. Another big inhale. Another big exhale. Inhale ourselves back up into tabletop. Curl the toes, make your way up into downward facing dog. Right leg lifts behind you. We're gonna let that leg come out to the side like a airplane wing. Try to lift the pinky edge as high as it'll go. Another breath, really press through the hands. And then bring that leg behind you. Now we're gonna take the right knee behind the right wrist, place it to the floor. We're coming into pigeon. So grab your props, let that right heel be either in the middle or towards the left wrist. And then as you melt the back heel down, I always do this with a good blanket roll or blocks between under the thighs, or the hips rather. So using a block either underneath the right glute or a pillow to keep the hips even, or in my body, underneath the left thigh works really well so I don't drop my hips unevenly. Squeeze the thighs together to square off the hips. It's okay to have props on both sides. That's how I do it. It's safer for my hips that way. Glance back to make sure that left foot is coming out of your hip, not hanging off too far to the side. And if you're unsure, squeeze the thighs together, scissoring the hips even. And then fill in the blanks there. Stuff some pillows. I'm a big fan of props and pigeon, because that's where I get a number on my hips. Lengthen up. You can stay upright if that feels right, or start to come down onto forearms. Stretch the arms out long, rest your chest on the floor, or grab a block or a pillow, rest your head. Let yourself soften, but remember, when you soften, the joints start to collapse, which is why props are so important. Big fan of the saying, props are for pros. Just take a few good breaths. Just feel what you feel. I'm not going to talk for a little bit. I'm just going to let you breathe and be. Pigeon can often bring up a lot of deeper stuff, so if anything does arise, just be with it, with an open heart, and compassion and kindness for yourself. Coming back to your breath over and over again. Just beginning to find your roots, what's connected to the earth. Ground down through the hands. Take a nice big breath in and start to press through the hands, bringing them under the shoulder. Then we're going to actually roll onto the right hip And mindfully swing that left leg all the way around. If you've got pillows or blankets or whatever underneath, just move them aside. So you'll land like this. I'm not mirroring you right now, so we're opposite. And we're gonna tuck that heel closer to the hip. So right heel comes closer to the left hip, the knee is down. Both sitting bones are on the ground, sit up nice and tall. And if you'd like to crisscross over, you can, just keep the hips on the ground. Lengthening up, left hand to the knee, right arm reaches up. Oh, nope, opposite. I'm sorry, I'm not mirroring you. So your right arm lifts. No, your left arm lifts. I'm confusing myself. Right hand on the knee, left arm reaches up and behind. Lengthen through the spine and then find your twist. Gaze to the back wall. Right hand pulls the knee across the midline a little more. Nice full breath. Big inhale, big exhale. And we lengthen up through the spine, slowly melt yourself back through center. Release the hands behind you, release the legs, let them come out in front, pull the flesh out from underneath. Dandasana, pull everything in and up. Press the earth away, lengthen through the spine, relax the shoulders, press energy out the heels. Couple breaths. Beautiful. Go ahead and mindfully make your way back into downward facing dog. As you arrive, just wiggle it out a little. And take that left leg, extend it behind you. Start to take the left leg out to the side like an airplane wing. Lift the pinky up a little more if you can. Breathe, keep pressing through the legs. And then slide that leg back, square the hips. We're going to take the left knee behind the left wrist. Pigeon on this side. Give yourself your props. Square off those hips. Don't be afraid to give yourself more than you think you might need. You might be surprised at how good it feels. And settle yourself in. Taking a few breaths. Squeeze the thighs towards each other to square off the hips. Make sure you're not leaning into one side. If you find yourself leaning into the left hip or the right hip, put some props underneath it to lift you up. All right. Take a couple breaths here. Let yourself be with what is on this side. Notice the conversations, the self-talk. Notice what pops up. Just be with your breath. Be with what surfaces. Your awareness to what's connected to the earth. Slowly start to lift the head, ground through the hands, lift the torso. Very slowly, mindfully slide onto that left hip. Swing the right leg all the way around. plant your sitting bones to the floor first and foremost, and then let that left heel come to the right hip. Right heel either stays in front of the right hip or crosses over the midline, keeping both hips to the ground. Sit up nice and tall, lengthen the spine. Just let that settle in for a moment. Left hand grabs the knee, your right arm sweeps up. Big breath in as you rainbow the hand all the way down to the floor behind you. And then you might pull that knee across the midline a little more, release shoulders, soften jaw. Just full breath in and out. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, back through center. Release the hands, draw the legs out in front. We'll flush out from underneath. Dandasana, press energy out the heels, and root down, lengthen through the spine. Go inward, energetically pulling in and up, reconnecting to your center. Inhale, big exhale. Feel free to stay just like this if this serves you best, or start to walk the hands forward. Hold the floor towards you, heart reaches up and over the toes, shoulders out of the ears. And we start to melt inward. Another great place to grab your blocks or your blankets and use some props to support you so that you kind of let go in your forward fold. Maybe let the head be supported. Maybe let the palms face up and see how that feels. Feel the breath wash over the back body. Feel your exhale softening. Just full breath in, full breath out. Root down through your hands, low tummy pulls in, slowly bring yourself upright, nice and slow. As you arrive, roll the shoulders back into Dandasana, don't worry about your props. Nice full breath in, and a full breath out. Still remove the props aside. Come down on your back. Get down there however you want. We're gonna do a little core work down there, so if you don't want to add on more, you don't have to go down one vertebra at a time. But it's always fun to do this. We do it in every class, and so you can really see kind of where you're at today. Once you arrive, you're gonna roll onto the left side. So take your left arm and reach it up and over the head, and then roll onto your left side body. Legs are straight. We were here already together today. The legs are like Tadasana. The right hand's in front of your chest to help stabilize you. And then we're going to prop up onto the left forearm. Okay. So your left forearm's on the floor, elbow under shoulder, fingertips are in front. And then we're going to roll just a little bit back. So now you're more on your left glute. You should feel like you're kind of hanging out on your left butt cheek. And then sealing up the legs. I want you to start to pull in and up. Think kind of like boat pose, but to the side. So we're going to start to lift the legs. Any amount. Yep. Kind of a side angled boat pose. So you're hanging out on your left butt cheek. Keep squeezing, and then maybe float the right arm up. And then maybe lift the legs a little more. Another breath. You got it. Awesome. Very mindfully release down. And then just roll down onto your back. Bend your knees, straighten out the spine. Take a nice big breath into the belly. Big inhale. Big exhale. Windshield wiper those knees from side to side. Then we extend the legs long again. And roll onto your right side with the right arm propping you up. Left fingertips are in front. Then we slowly start to kind of lean back. So you're sort of hanging out on your right butt cheek. You're no longer on the hip. This is kind of where I personally prefer to be on my side, so my hip isn't jetting into the floor. And then really seal up the legs like Tadasana. Checking with that bottom shoulder and collapsing. Can you press the floor away to create more space around that shoulder? Then pull the tummy in. Seal the thighs and the legs. Zip it up and slowly start to lift the legs, bringing them out in front a little bit. We're not lifting them to the side. It's like boat pose. Keep lifting. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then maybe that left arm lifts. Try not to collapse into the right shoulder. Keep the heart lifted. Maybe the legs lift even more. Maybe not. You just be where you are. Another breath. And then we gently, mindfully release the legs, release that arm, and down yourself back onto your back. And feel what you feel. Take nice deep full breaths, maybe a little windshield wiper of the knees. Let's press. Bring the feet in so they're hip distance. Yeah, bring the hands by your side. Press up into bridge, squeeze glutes, lift the hips, make sure there's space between the chin and the chest. Press down through the arms. Don't let the knees splay out to the side. Keep pulling to the middle line, another breath. And then we lower down one vertebra at a time. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, press the hips up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You might roll the shoulders under a little if that feels good. Maybe you clasp hands. Maybe your hands grab the heels. Press down through the arms. Another breath. Then unroll the shoulders. Lower down slowly, one vertebra at a time. Take a nice big cleansing breath there. Big inhale. Big exhale. Right knee to the chest. Feel free to keep the left leg as it is or extend it long. Nice full breaths here. And we'll switch. Left leg comes in, right leg either bends or comes long. Keep it engaged. Both knees come into the chest. Get the hands to the kneecaps, fingers pointing towards the toes, and some circles, circling the knees in one direction. Just massaging the sacrum, the low back. With your breath, after movement. And pause and go in the other direction. And then pause. Let the left leg go long. Right knee is pulled in, and we're going to take the right arm out from the shoulder and guide the right knee across the midline. So feel free to let the leg collapse down towards the floor if that feels good to you. But for a little more stability, you might take your block or a few blankets and place that block under your knee so the knee stays hip height. And then just breathe into the spine. Shoulder melts to the floor. Let's take a few good breaths. Of course, if you don't like this twist, you can find your version that works best for you. Just give yourself a few breaths to settle into the shape, into the moment. Next breath in, bring that leg back up through center. Bend to both knees, feet to the floor. Take the feet a little wider than your mat or as wide as your mat and just let the knees knock in. Take a nice big belly breath. Big exhale. And one more like that. Bring the knees into the chest, a little rock and roll. And then the right leg can extend long, left knee stays in. Let your right hand guide the left knee across the midline. Maybe you choose to move your props. Maybe you find a different twist if that works better for you. And then the left arm melts to the floor as you breathe. Just welcoming a few more mindful breaths in and out. As you inhale, start to bring that left leg back through center. And then place the foot to the ground, bend knee, let the other knee bend. You can come to a constructive rest where the feet go wide and the knees knock in if that feels good. If not, just stay centered. And take a nice big belly breath. Big inhale. Big exhale. Feel free to stay like this for a few more mindful breaths. Or if you'd like to come into happy baby, you can do that. Or if you'd like to just float the feet straight up and let them dangle in waterfall, you can do that. Whatever you think would serve you, and if you have enough time, you can do a little bit of all of them if you'd like. Just let the breath be soft and easy where whatever you choose. If you're doing a little bit of all of them, switch to your last option. We'll give this just a few more moments before finding our way into Shavasana. Wherever you are, slowly start to bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze. A little rolling, massaging out the back body. And releasing the legs. They're long on the mat or on top of some props. And then allow your arms to rest wide with the palms face up. Shoulder blades melting down the back to become flat to the earth. Nice full breath in. Feel the breath wash over the entire body. Full breath out, surrendering, softening. Facial muscles melt. You're going to let the eye gaze inside, roll up to the third eye. Just let yourself go wherever you go. Adjust. Find the fuller breath. Feel that breath through the body, bringing life force in. The breath deepens and lengthens. Every time, welcome to movement back into the body. Eventually, making your way from a inner wiggle to a big stretch. Your knees, inviting the knees coming in, the chest is rolling to whichever side calls to you. On arrival, take a breath in and out and feel the moment as it shows up. Press yourself all the way up to the seat. Keeping the eyes close yourself to the floor, just stay connected to the internal landscape. Feeling your breath, choosing a more mindful breath to ground you into this moment, right here, right now. Your body, your breath. Here and now. Please welcome the palms together in front of the heart. We'll close with a cleansing breath. Please do join me. Full inhale. Audible releasing exhale. And from this place, we bow down. Here we all connect as one. Namaste. Thank you so much.